City of Detroit has a new planning and development director. Antoine Bryant arrived this summer and had a bit of a coming out party on Mackinac Island this past week. And this morning, it's our first chance to have a conversation with a man who has a huge but potentially transformative challenge in front of him. Antoine Bryant, it's great to have you on Flashpoint, and a belated welcome to Detroit.
Oh, thank you for that. I greatly appreciate the opportunity, and I'm glad to be here.
Well, in fact, let's start with the gap between what you expected to see in Detroit, because you said this past week that Detroit's been on your radar for some time. The gap between what you expected to see and what you actually found when you arrived.
Well, I don't know if it necessarily was a gap. I knew coming in that there would be some of the challenges that we are familiar with as far as repopulating the area, as far as bringing in more retail and bringing in, quite frankly, more residents to the area. What has been exciting and what, quite frankly, sealed the deal to have me come was the collection of support by the private sector, by the philanthropic sector, as well as the resources being made available at the federal and state levels. And so it's not often that you get a collection of all three of those disciplines to come together for the improvement of a municipality. And so it's just an incredibly exciting time to be here in Detroit.
It is. I'm wondering, though, what you think the last year and a half the pandemic has done. I think a lot of people felt like we pretty much had a foot on the accelerator there, and then ran into, obviously, as many municipalities did across the country, a roadblock that we weren't anticipating and had never had any experience with before in trying to navigate. What has that done to Detroit's progress, do you think?
I think it's slowed it down. I won't say it stopped it, but it definitely has slowed it down. Many of the industries that took a hit during the pandemic are ones that were still in a kind of a growth mode in Detroit, right? So hospitality, as far as tourism, those things really affected a lot of cities, probably harsher than they affected the Detroit market, because those were things that were still building up, right? So we didn't have as much of a jarring hit as, say, an Orlando or as a Las Vegas, if you will,
yeah,
as a Miami, right? Those are ones that really were, they took a punch. I think we were still kind of in a growth and assessment mode, so there are some challenges there. I think obviously there's been a shift tremendously in office workers and in downtown presence, but again, you saw that dramatic shift in cities all across the country, and I think that's an opportunity that was a growth opportunity for us, and we're beginning to come out of it. And as it's probably been talked about on this show and many others, what's been fascinating is how real estate appreciation has been a real thing here in Detroit.
Yeah.
Just in the rising cost and rising availability of housing, both for single family and for multifamily, has actually been going up in the last several months, which has not been something in all parts of the country. Which,
as the mayor pointed out last week, means that people finally feel the freedom and the latitude to improve on their properties because they feel like, it's actually makes financial sense. I imagine it took you no time at all to find that Detroit has this divide that many cities have, where some people fear that there's a big gap between the worries and concern about what's going on downtown and the worries and concern about what's going on in the neighborhood. And Detroit, with its 137 square miles, is a city of more than 200 neighborhoods. Do these things have to move separately, or are they all of a piece to you?
I think ideally they're all of a piece, right? Detroit is most assuredly a city of neighborhoods, and that part has become even more and more clear in the several weeks, now 2 full months that I've been here. However, we don't want it to be are bifurcated, right? We don't want it to seem as a situation where the downtown is one and separate from the city of Detroit, but that downtown is still one that is part and parcel of the entire city, and should be one where all of our residents feel attracted to and feel comfortable as having a part of their ecosystem, as part of their work, live, and play life cycle. And so, however, much of downtown, like in many cities, it's going to redevelop and continue to develop in of itself because of market forces. And so one of the things that we've talked about extensively in planning development is how do we ensure that we are not only developing in our neighborhoods, but quite frankly, even accelerating development in our neighborhoods, both equitably and through resident-led engagement.
I mentioned it earlier, you're a native of Brooklyn, and you spent a lot of time in Houston. You've been around big cities that have worries about crime. We've watched crime jump up in Detroit, as it has in many other cities over the last year. I'm curious as to whether you feel like your job toward development is an answer toward helping address crime problems, or is it something that we've got to get crime handled before you can really do your work in development and planning?
No, that's a great question. I don't think they're sequential. I think they can run in concert with one another. But I will never draw a correlation between development in and of itself and crime, or even the perception of crime. I think it's something that we will continue to focus on from a development standpoint. We're going to keep moving forward. I think that crime is going down. I sit in meetings with the mayor on a weekly basis, and we're looking at the crime statistics. They are trending downward. And it is reflective more of a national trend and not just regional or even local. So I am pleased to see that things are going down slowly but surely. But that in mind, I think it's something that we will stay focused on development. And hopefully, when we're able to have a stronger city physically as well as socially, the determinants that lead to criminal activity will begin to continue to trend downward as well.
Yeah. I'd like to use Brooklyn a little bit, and your thoughts on Brooklyn as an example here. I think to city planners and community leaders, Brooklyn is both a success story for the way a city can come back and also a cautionary tale when it comes to the idea of gentrification and some people being forced out of a place that they long believed was theirs. What's your outlook on what we should learn from the way that Brooklyn has progressed over the last couple of years? People love to use Brooklyn and Detroit kind of as in some ways corollaries.
That's interesting because when I first came to Detroit, and this is probably 15 years ago, it definitely reminded me of my hometown.
Yeah.
Much of it because of it's the people are real. The people are genuine, and their love for their city is palpable, right? I mean, that's honestly one of the three major things that really drew me to Detroit was that, Detroiters love Detroit, and they have every reason to do so. The distinction that I've grown, and why I really am excited about Detroit, is I think we still have the opportunity for Detroit to be led by and driven by and owned by Detroiters. The fact that there's so much land that is available to Detroiters, and one of the things that our office is going to be focused on is having development and land be accessible to residents here that have been longtime residents. That's something that ship has sailed long ago in Brooklyn, right? Yeah. And that's part of the reason why that part grieves me, but Detroit really does hold the future in its hands in the residents. And so we can really make a tremendous nation-leading opportunity here of how a city can grow equitably, but also include the betterment of the lives of all of its residents, not just the top 10%.
I've only got about 45 seconds left, and that's unfair for the question that I'm going to end with here. But we remain one of the most segregated cities in America. And I'm wondering what your outlook is on that as you come to take on the challenges that you now see in front of you.
Wow. I think one of the best ways we can do that is we're going to continue to focus on amenities that are available to all. The Detroit Riverfront Conservancy is doing tremendous work of making that riverfront accessible to Detroiters of all backgrounds and of all socioeconomic levels. And I think the more that we focus on those cultural amenities, those recreational amenities, and business development opportunities for all Detroiters, then we will break down some of those barriers that exist.
Well, handling that in such a short amount of time certainly speaks to your television professionalism. We wish you all the luck in the world in this terribly important job you've got in front of you. And I hope we'll have you back on the program real soon, Antoine.
It would be my absolute pleasure, and I appreciate the opportunity.
You bet. Great to have you here. We'll take a quick break. We'll continue with more. This is Flashpoint on Local 4.